Picture it is a hot, blistering day in Rajasthan, India. It's one of those days when you step outside and automatically squint because the sun is just too strong and your eyes cannot adjust quick enough. I hear my preceptor shuffling quickly behind me, grabbing her basket full of material that the village women would later use to embroider scarves and pillowcases out of. Quickly, I slip on my dusty sandals, and before I know it, we are in the car and driving off down the dirt roads of Jodhpur. I conducted my fieldwork in a small village called Bikampur, which takes 2 hours to drive by car each way. And while spending all that time driving at first may sound excruciating, it actually ended up providing a moment or two to reflect. I would often look out the window and soak in all of the life around me. Or I would think about what my goals were for the next workshop and what seemed to be successful after the last visits and hope I could replicate that again. As we pull into the village, the children would notice our arrival and begin waving. It's their energy, the one that seems to radiate through their huge smiles that would automatically brighten my day and help remind me of my purpose here in India. My name is Kiesow, and this summer I worked at IPHD, the Institute for Philanthropy and Humanitarian Development. I chose to work on 2 projects specifically focused around women's health. The first project concentrated on pregnancy and postpartum health. Since I was the first intern to look into the women's childbirth experiences, I sought to find out what pregnancy complications they had in hopes that the IPHD would later provide a mobile health clinic in the future. I'd expected that I would go in and sit with these women one-on-one alongside my preceptor, but instead, I ended up conducting what would look more like a focus group with a bunch of women all sitting around listening in to the one woman who was sharing her story with me. At times, the other women would chime in and give their personal opinion on the one woman's answer. And while I realized right away that this may not be the valid way that we learned in school to conduct an interview, I also realized months later that this method of collecting information actually accurately represented the close-knit relationship of all of the women in the village. After transcribing 20 interviews I conducted, I came away with some profound results. 1, women often married very young, between 10 to 19 years old, with almost half of the women becoming pregnant 1 to 2 years after. 2, majority of the women interviewed did not acknowledge severe pregnancy complications, but ended up talking more about normal pregnancy complications and provided information that they were experiencing frequent vomiting and frequent backaches. If medication was provided, these women did not know the name of the medication or the dosage that they were given. 3rd, the husband and the mother-in-law appeared to play the greatest role in determining the daughter-in-law's health care both during pregnancy and postpartum. In addition to the project on maternal health, the last few weeks in India, I also spent on another project working with young girls in menstrual hygiene. I can vividly remember my first day with the young girls. We performed a few icebreakers and were ready to jump in. The first slide comes up and the classroom erupts into quiet giggles. I knew right then that this was going to be a little challenging. The reason why ultimately this project is so important is that it indirectly aims to keep young girls in school. Very often when a girl starts to menstruate, her parents might pull her out of school automatically, or she may have to leave school or voluntarily decides to leave school due to a lack of structural resources, such as a lack of water at the school. By providing knowledge of how to prepare for this monthly event, the hope is that the young girls will be armed with the ability to overcome this challenge early in advance. Also, by working with a female teacher right in the school, the hope is that we can also provide a sustainable resource for the girls right there. Seeing this transition over the few weeks in these young girls, from giggling and hiding their faces to intently watching the videos and confidently discussing amongst each other, was extremely exciting. I believe that it is these strong bonds formed at a young age that will propel women. When women come together, they empower each other. India taught me time and time again the strength of women and the power of connection. I'm very grateful to UCLA, the Jevkin Newman Fellowship, and IPHD for providing me with this experience. Thank you.